So today we are going to discuss about the some theoretical concept. Theoretical concept means which is very useful concept that is called the RFC types. RFC types here. That is theoretical concept is called the types RFC types here, not the connection types here. RFC types here. There is a RFC connection types are available. How many types of RFC connection types? Anybody? Types of RFC
Six, I
connection.
think.
Yeah. So, okay. So in that above to above connection, right? Above to above connection. So all those things are the RFC connection types here, right? RFC connection types here. Types of connection here, right? So types of RFC connections here. Types of RFC connections here, right? So same time, right? RF class time is 7 to 8. Someone asking me what is the class timings. Okay. So RFC types. What is RFC? RFC is a mechanism, is a communication protocol that will allows business applications to communicate each other and exchange the information with the other systems. That is called the RFC, which means a remote function call. RFC means it's a remote function remote function call here, right? Remote function call here. So remotely we can connect to the other systems. Why means to communicate with the applications or exchange the information with the other systems. We have to use the RFC remote function call here. So the RFC, there are the types of RFCs are there, not the connection types. Connection types we know one, two, so above connection, above to this one, we know the connection type here, right? So, but there are the types of RFCs. There are the 4 types of RFCs are there here. One is the synchronous RFC. One is the synchronous RFC here, right? One is the synchronous RFC. Second one is the async RFC. The third one is the transactional RFC. Transactional RFC. The fourth one is the queued RFC. Queued RFC here. There are the 4 types of RFC connections are there in the SAP here. RFC types, not the connection types here. So don't RFC connection type means above to external connections, TCP/IP connections, internal connections. Those are the connection types. Just this is the RFC types here. So synchronous types here. So what is mean by synchronous here? Let's talk about the synchronous here. Suppose why we need the RFC connection means this is the ECC, this is the one more system, this is the one more system, this is the one more system. So you have the one more system here, right? Like that you have the multiple systems are there in your business. So if you want to pull the data from this system, you need to establish the connectivity. From here to here, you need to establish the connectivity. So like that, so once one server to another server, one SAP system to another SAP to pass the data, we need the RFC. RFC is required. So here RFC is required here. Here, what is mean by this is the source system, this is the target system here, so here what is mean by synchronous RFC? Synchronous here, synchronous RFC means here, so requires both the systems to be available at the same time of communication or data transfer, which means so you are passing the data from this system to so another system, so transactions, so which means the here both the systems and target system and the source system both should be available here, right? Both the should be available here. So that is the reason it's morely synchronous wise. Why? Because once the data passes to the here, then it will send the acknowledgement saying that I have received your data, then it will send the acknowledgement back to the here, then it will send the one more data acknowledgement back here, that send the one more data. Like that the server communication happen, the data transfer will happen. So it's a most common type is required when the immediately the required here. So it's a communication between the systems and where acknowledgments are required here. In this way, both are in the synchronous mode. Both are in the synchronous, right? Synchronous communication means source and target should be available at the same time, right? To transfer the data here. Once the first data transferring is done, it will send the acknowledgement saying that I have successfully received the transaction to source. Then source will send the one more data. Same as like in the previous years back, we have the not normal phones are there, not the smartphones, normal phones. With your normal phones, touchpad phones, when you send the message to your friend, if you enable the delivery option, you will get the as soon as the person he receives, you will get the message like delivered thing, like that delivered message you will get it out. But second message delivered, third message delivered, like that you will get the sequence of messages delivered like that. Nowadays there is no option, I think, in the smartphone, right? I don't think it is a option, delivered option. Means if you send the text message to your friend, what will happen? So whether he received or not, you are not sure, right? So that, but in the previous years back, you will get the delivered message, which means you can come to know, oh, the message has been successfully delivered to your friend. Like that, you will get the delivered pop-up, you will get it out. But nowadays, I don't think in the smartphones, right? So everybody, we are using the WhatsApp communication or some other communications we are using. No one is using the text messages, only rare people, right? So that is the one. So here, same as like synchronous RFC means when you send the message to the your friend send the, you will get the acknowledgement back to the source saying that acknowledged or delivered, like that you will get the thing. Then you can send the another communication here. So this is the reliable communication. This is the trusted communication. This is the reliable and trusted communication here, right? So reliable and trusted communication here, reliable and so trusted communication here. So reliable and trusted communication here. So which means, so you are securely, you are transferring the data serial wise, you are transferring the data. There is no data loss in the system here. If the issue with the target system is not available, source system wait until target system is available. Then so it will there is no data loss related activities on the target system here, right? So that is called the synchronous RFC, right? Then asynchronous RFC here, asynchronous RFC means it is the communication between the systems where both are communication, both the systems are communications only, both the systems are communication only, both the systems are communication systems only. But here synchronous you will get the acknowledgement and asynchronous you won't get the acknowledgement. It's like a postcard. Normally, it's similar to the postcard delivery. Normally, for the postcard, you will post it, but you are not sure whether when they will receive, you will not get in acknowledgement or nothing, right? That is, it does not require both the systems should be available at the same time. So it's not immediately sent back or anything. So in case of source system resource does not wait, the source system will keep on sending the data to the target system. Where the target is down also, the data will hold on the data will hold on the source system. It will keep on sending to the target, keep on sending to the target, keep on sending to the target here, right? So in this way, the target is down also, it will send the transfer the data. As soon as target is available, all the data received. So, but there is no reliability, there is no consistency whether the target is received or not. Quietly opposite with the synchronous RFC connection, right? So that is the quietly opposite to the synchronous RFC here, right? This is not the reliable RFC connection. This is not the reliable RFC connection. It means it does not require both the system to be available at the same time execution. It's not immediately required to send back to the acknowledgement to the source system. Means there is no acknowledgement sent to the source system, right? That is called the asynchronous, right? So transactional RFC. Transactional RFC means it's a special form. It says transactional RFC. It's a, there is a transaction steps will be assigned. Transactional RFC is an same as like asynchronous RFC only. Simply transactional RFC similar like a asynchronous RFC. It's use the asynchronous communication methods. So, but here the one thing is here, when sending the data to the target, it will assign the one transaction ID. It will assign the one transaction ID here, right? It will assign the one transaction ID here, right? So in this way, what will happen? The transaction, there is no duplicates. So when sending the data to the target, it will assign the transaction ID so that the transaction ID is different each and every time. So there is no duplicate data. They will assign the one transaction ID. So same data, one more transaction ID, it will not assign it. There is no duplicates in the target system. It will clearly show same data is available. So this data will not be available. The same data will not be duplicates here. Same data will not be duplicates here, right? Transactional RFC, which means when sending the data to the target system, simply when sending the data to the target system, it will assign the one TID, transaction ID will be assigned. Transaction ID as is assigned. As soon as target is available, there is a scheduler which will every 60 seconds it will check, it will pass the information to the target system here. That is called the transactional RFC. But for transactional RFC, there is a transaction code that is called the SM58 is the transaction code. Here we can check the transactional RFCs, transactions things we can check it out here. If you log into the system, right? If you go to the SM58 is the transaction code. So here we can check the, are there any failures? So here you have to check the failures. Are there any failure transactional RFCs are there or not? Nothing was selected. There is no failures. So the transactional RFC, this is the transaction code to check the transactional RFC here. If you go to the our ECC original ECC system here, so here if you go to the SM58 here, let me remove the dates here, remove the users here to check are there any failures in the system or not. You will get the data here. Why? Because it's a real system, kind of a real system here. So you will get the data will be failure here. Here if any data failure, what we have to do, we need to investigate it, why we have to done. Otherwise we have to inform to the respective functional team to clear the failures. Transactional RFC here to clear the failures. So we need to clear this one here, we need to clear it here. You can see it here. So we can see it here. So the data got failure. There is a lot of data got failure from 2020, 2012 onwards till late. There is a lot of data got failure in the systems here, right? So there are a lot of data got failure here in the system. So every transaction here, you can see there is a transaction ID assigned. Every transaction there is a transaction ID, TID is assigned here. In this way, there is no duplicates of the data here. This way, there is no duplicates. There is no duplicates of the data here. Transaction ID is only one, but there is no duplicate. Each transaction there is a ID is different. ID is different here. ID is different here. So transactional RFC, which means it will transfer the data to the target system. So via RFC destination, right? Normally we will send to the NP1 to NW via RFC destination. We will transfer the data, right? So but via RFC it will assign the transactional ID. So same data if it is available in target, this transaction will not move it, will not go further here, right? So that is the one. Let's see latest, I think 2024, there is a one data. Let me select, there is a execute option, execute. So there is a execute is failure. Why? Because this transaction code is created in the 000 client, 000 client here, 000 client here. So that's the reason. So maybe if that is a failure, so what we have to do, we need to reprocess. Otherwise, if you inform to the functional team here, they will reprocess it here. Go to the SM58 transaction code here, SM58. So then you can reprocess the transactions here. You can just reprocess the transaction here. That is called the transactional RFCs here. Just go to the here. Okay, so just scroll down. We can process anything, but those are the old, right? Let's reprocess only latest one here. Just execute LUW. So then it will execute it. Means it will re-execute the transaction via this RFC destination. This is RFC destination. Via this RFC destination, data transfer will happen to the, so data will move to the target system here. So but everything there is a transaction ID. If the same data is available, it will show like this is a duplicate data, something like that. So see here, this transaction is getting processing here. Right. So I think
Ravi, so this is the case when we are going to transfer some data from one system to another. This is then only it is assigned, right?
right. When you're transferring the data from the one system to other system, so something target system is, while transferring the data, target is not available. Something RFC connection is failure, target system is down. So that time the data failure will happen here in the your source itself. But there is a transaction ID is assigned here, right? So via these transactions, so data will move to the target system, but target is not available. It will stuck in the your source itself, it will stuck. Same as like here. Now we reprocessed one of the transaction, right? It got processed. But if you try to reprocess this one, not sure it won't flow. Why? Because that related transaction ID is not exist. That related thing is not exist here. So now this transaction DDIC, refresh it, that will gone. That got reprocessed. That got reprocessed. Means the data got processed, which has failure on the, so 9/5.
Here it is transferring data from 000 to 800 client or what?
I think it's transferring to 000 client. This RFC destination is for internal RFC connection. So 000 client only. Some internal connectivity, internal communication purpose. So it's transferring. So it's transferring. So suppose if you do this one, IDOC underscore RFC data failure, execute LUW. So, but it will fail you again. It will fail you here. You can see here syntax error. This is the program. This is the transaction ID. You can see it here. ZZEPP. This is the, it will fail you. Why? Because there is no RFC destination. Nothing is there here. So definitely it won't move. It won't go further. So it will fail you again. User switch is not possible. It failure again, right? Is it failure again? With today's state, it got failure. So which means it won't failure, it won't go. So why? Because yeah, the user is different. The users are the different users here. So like that, you can see multiple. So caller who is initiated this transaction. What is the target system here, right? Target system means via RFC destination above connection. This is the ECC system, right? So this is the SAP related ECC systems here. SAP related ECC systems here. It is transferring, right? So then connection. So if you do the connection disk, it failure. Why? Because there is no SAP system like this here. So that is the reason. So like this, the transactional RFCs, we can see it. So if thing got failure anything, we need to report to the respective functional team, or we can try to reprocess it here. If they ask us to reprocess it, so then we can reprocess it using the, so same SM58 transactional RFCs. Transactional RFCs means, so the transactions, when you are sending the data to the target system, it will assign the one transaction ID. So based upon that ID, data will move to the, so target system here. So it does not wait to be a target system here. Why? Because transaction ID assigned. So if the target system down also, the data stuck at the store side. As soon as the target is available, it will transfer the data to the target system here. That is the one thing. The next one is the queued RFC. Queued RFC here. Queued RFC here. The fourth one is called the queues. So it's a extension of the transactional RFC. Also, it's the through means queues. Queue means sequence. The queue means on order wise, sequence wise. So RFC means sequence wise. The data transfer will happen. So when the data transferring is happen, transactional RFC means it will assign the transaction ID. Some customers they will go for the queued RFC. Queued RFC means So queues wise. Okay, queue means when you are onboarding to the bus or flight, there is a queue wise we have to go, right? So queue means order wise, sequence wise, right? So the steps are executed when you are transferring the data from source to target. The steps are executed in a sequence. There is a proper sequence. The steps are processed in a proper sequence here. So in this way, the multiple, suppose the data is available to three transactions. So in this way, they will process into the order. Sometimes what happens, data will be split into the multiple chunks. Suppose there is a huge data, 2 GB data, suppose example. They have split into the 2 GB, suppose 3 GB data. They have split into the 1 GB, 1 GB, 1 GB. They have transferred it. But which order they have to follow, right? The first one, first GB, second GB, third GB. Like that, they have split it. Then the sequence wise, the order wise data should be transferred to the target system, right? So that is the reason. So they will use the queued RFC to process the data in a sequence. The transactions will be processed in order by specified by the applications. It will transfer the queues wise, it will transfer the data here, right? So queues wise, they will transfer the data here. But for queues, sir, where we have to define the queues, otherwise where we have to define the queues here, right? So for queues related, there are the transaction codes are called the SMQR, SMQS are the transaction codes here. Where can we monitor SMQ1, SMQ2 are the transaction codes to monitor the whether any transactions are failure or not. Here we can monitor it here. So normally in the new systems, the SMQR, SMQS always empty, right? It's empty here. So we need to define the queues here, which system it is giving and everything here. It's a inbound scheduler, which is coming inside of system here. So SMQS is called the outbound scheduler, which is going outside of the system here, outside of the system. Outside means another system, which means via RFC destination, which is going to the out. This is the outbound scheduler, outbound. So this system, this is the outbound. So let me draft here one thing here, you can understand what is this queues. This is a some very important concept here to understand this concept. This is the one system. This is the so one more system here. So source, target. So here to transferring the data to the here. So this is the outbound, out, which is going out. This is the inbound. This is the inbound here. So this is the inbound, this is the outbound here, both the systems here. So what, let me write it here. This is the coming in, inside of the system, right? Inbound, which is outbound, in, out, right? You know, in, out, in, right? Outbound. So what will happen? So in this system, in the system, multiple transactions will happen. Maybe one of the system, so they want to transfer to the other systems means, so suppose it will go to the outbound. Outbound means outbound will refers to the what is the target system. Then it will send to the in, right? So then here the data transfer will happen, some packets, some documents will added here. Then again, it will go to the outbound. Then other system will take into the place here, right? Other system will take into the place. So in means which is coming inside of the system. Outbound means which is going outside. Which is going outside means via RFC destination only it will go to the outside, right? That is called the inbound and outbound connectivities. Inbound and outbound connectivities here. So here for this inbound and outbound, first of all, we need to define the queue. Without defining the queue, how the data transfer will happen. So it won't happen. That's why. So outbound means so RFC destination. What is the RFC destination? You have to define the queues here. What are the RFC destination? Suppose like ECP2, ECD2, NWD RFC destination. So max, just click on the OK button. So then number of connection. Out means via RFC destination only it will go. So you have the number of RFC destinations are there, right? So number of RFC destinations are there, which you have selected here, right? This is going. So RFC destination, you have like that, you need to define the destinations here in the outbound scheduler. Out scheduler, you need to define the all the scheduler here, right? So queues you have to define it. The queues creation we have to do it in the, so in the SMQR, SMQS here, in which is inside of the queue. So inside of the queue means, so A star related data should come to the here, then B star related data should come to the here, then X F star related data will come to the here, then CF star data should come to the here. So like that, you need to define the queues here. You need to define the queues here. So normally not you, functional team will define the queues. Why? Because functional team is responsible for the data transfer and everything here. So if any technical issues, RFC destinations are not working, that we have to take the responsibility. These queues, they have to define it. So where can we check the queues? Inbound queues, outbound queues means SMQR, SMQS here, right? SMQR is like a inbound scheduler, right? SMQS is a outbound scheduler here. So first of all, we need to define the queues. So why once you define the queues, the data transfer will happen via these queues only. Suppose example, you want to, so SMQR, let's check here in the system. So here lot of queues are there here, right? SMQR. So then SMQS, here also there are a lot of systems are there here. Lot of systems are there here as well here. So then SMQ1 is the to check the outbound queues. Are there any failed outbound queues are there or not system? Just provide the, there are the 651 entries are there here, which is going to the outside of the system here. You can see outside of the system, which is going to the outside of the system here, right? It is going to the outside of the system, right? So just if anything failure happened, just execute the LUWs here, data transfer will happen here. Data transfer will happen to the respective target system. What is the destination here? This is the GRC01, BT3T. These are the destinations here. So this destination will transfer the data here. These destinations will transfer the data here, right? This destination will go to the transfer the data here via this destination here, right? So this is called the queues. Via queues wise data transferring will happening. Via queues wise data transferring, execute means the data transferring will happen here, right? So that is what we need to transfer the data here, right? That is what we need to transfer the data. Right? Data transferring is happening here. So that is the queues, inbound queues. Suppose inbound queues, inbound means which is coming inside of the system, which is coming inside of the system. So SMQ2, SMQ2 are the inbound queues here. So SMQ2, right? So there are the some queues got stuck here. You can see three queues got stuck here, which are dated at 2012 dates here. Queues got stopped, I think here. So which got failure here. Select it. So we can reprocess it here. Select and we can reprocess it here. Just 1 minute. So which will reprocess the data here, right? So inbound queues and outbound queues in which is coming inside of the system. So inside of the data will be like that XB star, XQ star like this only here. Outbound queues means which is going outside of the system. That is called the outbound. So outbound queues, any data is stuck here, we need to, so we need to take the action here. We need to take the action here, right? So which is coming outside via this RFC destination, it will go to the this system here. Via this RFC system, it will go to the inside of the system here. So like this, data transfer will happen from source to target, target to source, some other systems here. So here, everything will use the RFC to transfer the data from one system to another system. So it will use the RFC only. So if it is the queued RFC, via queues, the data will transfer to the respective target system here. Via queues, the data transfer, via queues here, the data transfer will happen to the target system here. Via queues, the data transfer will happen to the respective the target systems here. Via queues, the respective data will transfer to the target systems here. That is the, so queued RFC here. That is the queued RFC here. Okay. So this is the RFC types here. These are the RFC types which will transfer the data here, right? Synchronous, asynchronous, transactional RFC, and queued RFC here. So sync means while sending the data, it will not use the queues mechanism here. Queues. Just transfer the data to the target, then it will send the acknowledgement via RFC destination, it will transfer it. Asynchronous, these two, there is no transaction codes here. But transactional RFC, SM58, we can check the SM58, we can check the transactions here, how many are failure or not, we can reprocess it, all those things here, right? Why? Because each transaction, there is a transaction ID will be assigned here, right? So then queued RFC via queue wise, it will transfer the data to the target system. Via queues wise, it will transfer the data to the target system here via queues. Queue means order. So how to define the queues means SMQR, SMQS, which count inbound queues and outbound queues. But way to monitor whether the successfully the data transferring whether queues orderly processing or not, we are not sure, right? SMQ1, SMQ2, we need to check it out. It's our responsibility to check the whether data is successfully transferring or not. As a day-to-day activity, this is one of the daily monitoring activities. We need to check if any failures, we need to take the actions in the system. Okay, it's clear.
Yes, Ravi, but I just want to know in which scenarios do we use all these transactions? Like, for example, we have 4 RFC types and 5 RFC connections, right? Yeah, so in which scenarios this and in which scenarios those is actually linked?
Yeah, normally for the system to system communication, normally connection types will be used. Via that connection types, how the data transfer will go. First two, there is no RF, there is no transaction codes. Just it will internally, it will happen. First two, 1, 2. But third one, fourth one, so transactional RFC. Suppose some people, normally people will do the transactions. Each transaction, there is a ID will be generated. So the transaction will transfer to the target system or respective system. That time, it will assign the target transaction ID. ID will be assigned, it will transfer to the target system. But some data, normally functional team will choose that one. Normally, which one their transactional RFC or queues wise they want to transfer the data. Definitely some data will be the queues wise, some data in the transaction wise. Transactions means normally users will daily day-to-day activities, they will do the functional team or development teams or we will do the transactions. That data is like a transactional RFC. So queued RFC means queues wise, the functional team will split the data, will transfer to the some packets to the here, some packets to the there. So that's why they will use the queued RFC here. So which scenario means maybe functional team they will assign, they will do that one when they are creating the programs or reporting. So they will choose it which scenario everything, but our responsibility as a basis consultant, we need to check the in the Q1 or Q2 any failures are there. If yes, we need to report to them, then they will correct the data formats or anything missing, they will correct it. But our responsibility only monitoring the queues. So if they want to unlock the queues, we can unlock. The data transfer should not happen via this queues means Q1, QR, QS, we can unlock, we can log the, we can do the deregistration. If they want to transfer the data, we can just to go to the, if they want to, they don't want to transfer, the system is going to the upgrade. They don't want to transfer the data to the target system. We can just to deregistration. We can perform the deregistration. It will come to the U. DU means unregister. So once the upgrade is done, then we can transfer the data here. So business systems means one to another, it will transfer the data, right? That is the reason here. So they don't want to send the data to the, so this destination. Then select it. Why? Because that system, the target system is going to be upgrade. If you transfer the data, what will happen? Data may be lost. So that's why just so uncheck it, deregister it, so that the data flow will not happen via this destination. So everything, it will use the destinations which will create in the SM59, it will use the destinations here.
Ravi, hello.
Yes.
Destination and target system, we will find out this SMQ1, Q2, na, that details failure or where is any possibilities for transfer the data.
Yeah, which destination it is using, which destination.
Yeah, destination and target systems where we destination already SMQ or SMQS we will register that things. Okay, SMQ1, Q2 transfer that things. Target system I'm asking.
Yeah, normally for the target system SMQ1. So yeah, if you go to the SMQ1, it will give the information which what is the destination name and everything. It will give the destination name.
These are destination system servers.
Yeah, destination means which is connecting to the target system. So this is the one. If you directly select it, it will go to the SM59. So this is the destination which is connecting to the GRC system. This is the GRC system. This system is not exist actually. So that is the reason the data got failure in the here itself. There is a 352 entries got failure in the ECC itself here. What are those entries here? Why? Because the destination, the system is not exist. That way the data got failure here itself.
Okay. Our destination means in this which
Target
server
system.
we want target system.
Target system, yes, right.
Okay.
So in the SM59, first of all, we need to create the destinations here. So it's a GRC, right? GRC. It kind of real time where there are many RFC destinations. Yes, I think this is the one. So this kind of systems, yes, sales, production, and yeah, I think yeah, this is the one. I think this is the one. So this is not exist. So this system is not exist. If we have the GRC system, we can map it. These systems are not exist. That's why the data got failure in here itself. Here itself means in the SAP itself, the data got failure. Here we can monitor it. Here we can see. This is a just kind of demo system. That's why you can see the data. If it is normal, our original systems, our practice systems, even we don't have any functionality. It should show like empty. No, nothing is failure. It show empty. If nothing is failure, it show like zero, empty. So, but in the real-time systems, you will see the data. That's why I showed you in the real-time system as well here. So here SMQ or SMQ, which we created just now. Normally, which they functional team will do that one, that use creations and everything, they will do that one. So they will do that one. So, but our systems, our practice systems, it's showing 0. Why? Because there is no data failure here in our systems. There is no connectivities. There is no data failure. We are not transferring any data. But in one of the real-time systems, we have the data is there. Why? Because this is the practice server, right? This is one of the test server, SAP test server. Here we have the data is there. So that's why you can see that there is a huge data in the systems. Yeah, you can see the target system. These all are the target system related transactions here. So it's not like that one. So they will split it, which so based upon their scenarios, this double scenario, some transactions they will send you like this here in SM50 some scenarios they will send like a queues wise they will transfer the data. Why? Because the order is important. Some transactions order is very important. That's why that type of data they will use the queues. So some transactions they will use the IDs so to avoid the duplicates or anything. That is called the transactional RFCs here. But every either queues or transactions will flow via destinations only. These all are the target system. It will transfer to the target system. The destinations are failing. Why? Because these all are the SAP related destinations. It is failing. Let me check here our system. I changed the destination to our system to see whether it works or not. Sometimes wrongly people will configure it, all the transactions may fail it. Why? Because data transfer will happen via RFC destinations only from one system to another system. So either you have to maintain in the transactions or queued RFC, but RFC destinations are very important here. Okay, so that is the transactional RFC and queued RFC here. So then the next topic, I think, okay, we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay, so please practice this one. Also, if you want to practice on this real server